Hello, everyone. I got to get a little closer because I think when I've when I've been when I've been doing my editing for my weekly videos, at least this week, I noticed that the volume was really low. So it might be because maybe I gotta scoot back too. Wait a minute. Let's do this. Oh no, I'm gonna have to edit this whole thing out because it's going crazy. All right, that'll have to do for this video. So yeah, and I'm in a different place. I'm in San Antonio for the weekend, so it's just 2 days. No big deal. It's my third to last one, so it's interesting. It's a new leap in my life, something different, and that's what life about is change. This one, I hopefully will be a quick one because I gotta get up in the morning. But I wanted to touch on, I don't know how to explain it. So I've been listening to a little bit of Dopamine Nation by Anna Lemke, and she talks about how about addictions and how we all have addictions, and some also some of the cases uh, she's a doctor, and she takes in patients with uh, addiction problems, and she talks about how some of these people get so in depth with their addiction that it's almost hard or almost seems impossible to get out of. And what really touched me is some of the worst addictions. They just talk about suicide at the end of it when it's at a point of just such intensity that they don't even feel like they're worthy of being alive. And it really touches on how belief is just such an impact. It's just so prevalent, one, and also so impactful to our lives to the point that our beliefs in ourselves can literally, our beliefs in ourselves can manipulate our thinking into oh, believing that we shouldn't even be alive from the actions we take. Because for all these people with addictions, it's they're not addicts. They're humans. They're humans who have addictions. And I don't think they think of it like that. And I think they think I'm an addict. No one's going to love me because I'm an addict. And that's the wrong way of thinking about it. And if we change their beliefs a little bit to start thinking in this way, maybe they can and start realizing that first come the first thing they are is just a human being. And what comes with being a human being? Failure, flaws, just repeated failure, and trying to learn from your mistakes and struggling to keep going. And with that perspective, I think a lot of addicts. Of course, it won't. I don't think that solely will cure them. I don't think that will solve all their problems. I think it would just help a little bit if they start rewire their thinking and get brain to think of themselves as humans rather than addicts. But that's the thing, not the thing I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about how my perspective for helping them. And what I noticed with addiction is it always starts off small and then rolls and becomes bigger, bigger, bigger until you get into this big old hole that you don't think you can get out of. And with that, it might seem impossible to get out of that hole. And I don't think it's impossible. But I think what addicts, and we can throw in people with depression, with anxiety, each person's life circumstances is different. But I think if you have something like an addiction and have gotten yourself in this hole, the way to get out of it is, it's not going to be like this. It's going to be exactly how you got into it in the first place. It's starting small. It is creating small habits or within yourself, and starting incrementally, and then growing until you get back to a place where you can be steady and not in control, but regulating your addiction. I think a lot of people think they can just go cold turkey, and that's just not how it works. Especially with what I'm learning about the pain pleasure dynamic of the brain, how it's actually all regulated through one part of the brain, and it really is like a pendulum. So if you're in this addiction and you're so addicted and you stop cold turkey, well, your pleasure, or you've sustained it so much with all this pleasure on this one side, and so a little bit how addiction works, from what I've gathered from Dopamine Nation, is that with addiction, since the pleasure and pain come from the same part of our brain, whenever we partake in addiction, let's just take alcohol, right? You take alcohol, you feel pleasurable, and then you might not even have a hangover, but you have this side effect. So you feel pleasure, and then it comes back, you feel a little pain. But that pain is the longing for alcohol, the wanting for the alcohol. So it's not like sharp pains or it's like withdrawals. It is just that little bit of pain, a little bit of discomfort of knowing that you want it more. So going back to cold turkey, if someone is just hitting that pain and not letting it go back, and it's just going back, then the pendulum's going to get so high up that if you try to go cold turkey, it's going to boom. And in some instances, if it's a hard enough drug, I've heard that it can lead to very severe side effects, maybe even death. I am not Anna Lemke, so I don't know specifically. This is what I've heard, but it would make sense as well because as of our discussions with hope and desire, and my discussions with that Auschwitz prisoner, hoping with all his heart that the Allies would come on March 30th. March 31st comes and he's dead. So I can definitely see a circumstance where your addiction is so intense that stopping cold turkey would just blow you away. So what you need to do is you got to start small. It's got to be, if I drink 5 bottles of alcohol per day, well, this week I'm doing 4. And if I'm good this week, if I didn't and break it, let me go 3. If I did break it this week, okay, maybe a week too long. Let's do 3 days. I go 3 days with 4 drinks. Thanks. 3 days too long? Okay, a day with 4 drinks. Oh, that worked? Okay, I'm going to do one more day at 4 drinks. Oh, that worked. One more day with 4 drinks. Oh, failed? Okay. Maybe I did it for 2 consecutive days. Let me try one more day. Let's see. Or let's just try to go morning and afternoon. So starting as small as possible and then growing out of it, because that's exact same and the reciprocal process of how you got into the addiction in the first place. You started small and then you grew and grew and grew and grew until it was this big monster. Now we gotta uh, shrink it small, 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 and shrink it down. So I think those two things, thinking of yourself more as a human rather than whatever label you put yourself on, and also starting small with your addictions to cure them. I think also you got to replace that addiction with something. You're going to go back if you don't have anything, any activity that you can indulge in, that not indulge in, but partake in to help relieve yourself. One good activity is nature, hiking. I know a lot of addicts find solace in nature. But it can be anything. It can be pickleball, it can be sports, it can be whatever. But those three things I think could help addicts a lot. And anything that can help limit the amount of suicides, I think is a plus. Let life tell you when you need to die, not yourself. But with that, I didn't hit 15, so it was a good one. I will see y'all later. Bye.